Welcome back. All right, so we had some big scores tonight. We also had some shutouts tonight, so it was kind of all over the place. Kind of a nice mixed bag of games, which is good on a Saturday. 10 evening games if you're looking for the matinee games. Already reviewed, already up on the channel. We're good to go. So let's go ahead and jump right in with Columbus and Florida. This is the game that was over very, very early. And it went fast. So it's Merzlikins versus Bobrovsky in this one. Verhaeghe scores from Uyghur and Barkov at 44 seconds, and that's about it. That's the most important part of the game, really, because Columbus, you've got to kind of survive that early push, and they didn't. It was a result of a really strong shift to start off the game for the Panthers. Panthers then draw themselves a power play, so some sloppy play by Columbus, and it's a power play. Duclair scores basically right off the bat. From Huberdeau and Barkov at 2:07, Columbus would then try to answer. Reinhart has a backhander that stopped. Duclair with a rush chance that was defended. Power play for Columbus. Well, there's a shorthanded 2-on-1 and Uyghur buries it. Shorthanded goal for Mackenzie Uyghur from Reinhart and Ekblad at 9:27. That makes it 3-0. So if you're following along at home, game is done. And I realized that while I'm watching this, and this one started an hour before anything else, so I really had a good view of the carnage. Bennett nearly adds another, and then at 13:28, Verhaeghe does. He scores from Reinhart and Uyghur. So, and then I wrote underneath, this was over at 44 seconds. Like right off that opening face-off, this game was done. Panthers get a power play after that. They were unable to score, but again, it's 4-0 after one. Second period, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Huberdeau scores from Bennett. And this is where the "we want 10" chants become really loud. The fans want 10 goals. Well, they were at 5. There's only 22 minutes into the game, so mathematically, you got a chance there. Columbus tries to answer, but they need a touchdown, right? They need 6 points. Ekblad with a net feed. It's almost 6-0 on that. Then there's a power play for the Panthers. That was killed off, but then Lundell adds one from Lomberg at 12 minutes and 10 seconds. It's 6-0. Panthers press for more. Columbus gets a power play. That was a no. So we go to the third period. Early power play for Columbus. And they score on it. It's Nyquist from Domi and Bean at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Columbus was pressing for another, and I thought, good, they're playing for pride. And then Bennett scores from Duclair at 3:40, and I wrote underneath there in green, did I say pride? We want 10. So, yeah, the pride thing didn't work. You'll also notice the kind of logo I was using for the goals. Yeah, I ran out of them. I ran out of the Florida one that I was using, which is the old Panther, and I had to go over to the new Panther logo, which is very similar, but it's a little different. So, yeah, and then at 7:33, I had to use another of the new Panther ones, because Lundell scores from Uyghur and Ekblad, and then at 10:14, I needed another, because Hornquist scores from Lomberg and Lusterinen, making it 9-1. And again, for fans that wanted 10 goals, they were very happy. 36 seconds later, Boone Jenner scores from Nyquist and Peak. Makes it 9-2. Columbus gets a power play. Big deal. Your final score is 9-2. Florida goes to 26-7-5 with the win. I double-checked. It does only count as one game. Columbus 17-18-1. Apparently, they got all of their pride done in the 6-0 win at Carolina. Nothing left to give in this one. 3 stars are Uyghur, Ekblad, and Lundell. So Verhaeghe with 2 goals in the first period. He's not even one of the 3 stars. Shots 20-9 in favor of Florida in the first. 16-8 Florida in the second. A little closer in the third. 15-13 still for Florida. Final shots 51-30 for Florida. Power plays 1 for 4 for each team. Hits 29-19 for Columbus. Merzlikins saves 11 out of 15. Korpisalo 31 out of 36. It didn't really matter who was in the net. They shelled them both, and Bobrovsky saves 28 out of 30. What's quietly going on, while Florida's putting up all these goals, Bobrovsky's numbers are getting better too. So there's a lot of encouraging signs here for Florida, as well as the fact that their power play gets on the board tonight. So there you go. All right, next up, Detroit. So this was a game that didn't have a lot of tension in it either. There really wasn't a whole lot of doubt in this one by the time the first is done, even though the score's not that lopsided. So let's get into it. It's Dell versus Nedeljkovic. Wings with some early puck control. The Sabres would press at 3 minutes. 5 minutes into the first period, the shots are 3 apiece. So for Buffalo, decent road start. They're coming off of that win at Nashville. You know, maybe Wings get a power play, and they score on it. It's Bertuzzi scoring from Larkin and Zadina at 8:57. The shots halfway through the first period are 8-4 in favor of Detroit. DeKeyser has a shot that's blocked. Dell was keeping it close, but it's all Wings. It's just so many shots in that first period. 4:35 left. The Wings get a power play. It's a 4-minute power play. So the first 2 minutes get killed off. Bertuzzi tips one wide, but then Fabry at 19:09, he scores from Bertuzzi and Raymond. So it is 2-0 in favor of Detroit after one. Second period, early power play for the Sabres. They can't set it up. It's killed off. Detroit just doesn't let it get anything going. Then there's too many men on the ice call against Detroit. So Sabres right back to the power play. It's killed off again. One shot for Buffalo on that one. Sabres get another power play. This was the theme of the second period. And each power play, just as ineffective as the last. So that one was not very substantial power play, put it that way. Veleno then nearly buries one. Okposo has a chance to deflect out. Wings get a late power play. That was unsuccessful, but they're ahead 2-0 after two, so they're fine with the fact that power play doesn't connect. Third period at 12 seconds, Raymond, who is due for a goal, gets one from Larkin and Nemesnikov. So 12 seconds into the third, it's 3-0. 4 minutes in, the shots were 2-0 in favor of Detroit. Very good shutdown defense being played by Detroit with a lead. That's always something to keep an eye on as a team comes out of their rebuild. How are they at protecting leads in the third period? Sabres press, but they need some shots. Wings do clear it out eventually. It was a long press by the Sabres there. Larkin has a rush chance, kind of fizzles out, but he was trying to get a line change anyways. Sabres then get a power play. Unsuccessful, right? Rasmussen then scores from Bertuzzi and Hronek at 12:24. I believe it was Rasmussen coming out of the box too. So it's all shades of failure for Buffalo's power play tonight. Wings get a power play. That was unsuccessful with 2:38 left. The Sabres, they get their fifth power play. Still unsuccessful. So your final score is 4-0 for Detroit. They go to 17-17-5 with the win. Buffalo drops to 11-20-6. Your shots, or your 3 stars in this one, Bertuzzi, Nedeljkovic, and Larkin. Your shots, 22-6, Detroit in the first. Yep. 8 apiece in the second, 9-8 Detroit in the third. Final shots, 39-22 for the Wings. Power plays, both teams had 5 power plays. Buffalo didn't score on theirs. Detroit had 2 power play goals on theirs. The hits were only 11-7. This was the lightest hitting game of the night. Dell saves 35 out of 39. Nedeljkovic saves all 22 for a shutout. So kudos to Nedeljkovic for the shutout on that one. And for Detroit, they got to feel pretty good right now. Next up, Dallas in against Tampa. I mean, it starts better, but Dallas on the road, it's becoming an issue. So Hudobin versus Vasilevsky is your matchup in this one. Bolts get an early power play. That's killed off. There was a shorthanded chance for Hintz just as it ended, so good penalty kill there by Dallas. Shots are 4-2 for the Stars 6 minutes in. They came out and they were playing very well. Vasilevsky was saving anything that he could see, so it's a matter of trying to get bodies in front, but Lindell would get one from Pavelski at 13:48. It goes post and in. So maybe one of those ones that Vasilevsky'd want back, whatever the case. The Stars are up 1-0. Stars then press for more. The Bolts get a power play with 2:02 left. Point couldn't bury one, and I really thought Dallas was going to get out of this. They didn't. Point scores on the power play from Kucherov and Hedman at 19:47. And that's kind of disheartening because the second period for Dallas was not good. Hudobin robs Point in close. I have to say Hudobin played his best game of the season. It's not even close. And I think it's because it was Tampa on the other side. I think he is familiar with Tampa. I think he likes playing against Tampa. I think that's why he had his best game of the season. Strong first 5 minutes for the Bolts. Heiskanen has a net feed that was a near miss. Couldn't quite get at the net. Stars were not getting shots. In fact, with 8.5 minutes left in the period, the shots are 4-1 in favor of Tampa. So Dallas just isn't getting shots. Perry has a slot chance that deflects out. There was some hugging going on with 5:43 left. Ref thought they got too close, so 4-on-4. One for each team goes off to cool down. Joseph has a shot that's saved as the Bolts press. Kucherov was robbed by Hudobin. In the last minute, Hedman fires one wide. We go to the third period, still tied at 1. Dallas needs a point here. Third period, Bolts started with a 2-minute power play. That's not a good idea. However, the Stars did kill it off. Shots are 6-4 for the Bolts at 7 minutes. The Stars get a power play. Pretty aggressive penalty kill by Tampa. Kills that off. And then Ross Colton scores from Kucherov and Foote at 10:37. So 2 assists for Kucherov, and Tampa Bay's in the lead 2-1. Puck control for the Stars, but very little pressure. They just were not getting that sustained pressure and those screenshots that they need if they're going to tie things up. So the Bolts press with 4.5 minutes left. There's a press by the Stars with 3 minutes left. Perry to point, couldn't bury it, but what Tampa's doing at this point is they are preventing Dallas from pulling the goaltender. So Dallas doesn't get the goalie pulled until about 1.5 minutes left. You know, the time when we used to see goalies get pulled, now that's considered late. So Killorn ends up getting the empty net goal from Stamkos at 19:19. And yeah, that ends it. So the records after this game, Alakazam. The records are 26-9-5 for Tampa with the win. With the loss, Dallas drops to 18-15-2. Hard to catch a playoff spot when you're losing games like that. So your 3 stars are Kucherov, Colton, and Vasilevsky. The shots in this one favor Tampa in the first and second. 10-8 in the first, 9-2 in the second. Both teams had 10 shots in the third. Final shots 29-20 for Tampa. Power plays Dallas 0 for 1, Tampa 1 for 3. Hits 36-24 for Dallas. Hudobin saves 26 out of 28. Vasilevsky saves 19 out of 20. So tough night for Dallas. Good night for Tampa. We'll see how things go from here. Last on this board, the Rangers in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia, really, it feels like they just let 2 points get away from them tonight. It's Shesterkin versus Hart. Panarin with a break on a turnover. That was defended out. York fires one wide. Rangers get a power play and they score on it. It's Zibanejad from Fox and Panarin at 5:54. There were no Flyer shots in the first half of the period. 0 shots for the Flyers at home in the first period through 10 minutes. Braun fires one wide. The Flyers did get a shot before they get their next shot, which goes in. Lindblom from Konechny and Lawton at 11:45. So in a game where they've been outplayed, now it's tied. Mayhew with a rush chance, that fizzles. Hedl has a break, he hits the post. Better second half for the Flyers, and it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. First minute Rangers press. JVR and Hayes, then both had chances saved for the Flyers. York with a blast. The tip on that was blocked. The Flyers had the momentum. The Rangers get a power play. That was unsuccessful. We then had a power play for the Flyers. Provorov had a shot that was saved. It's killed off. Strome's shot was blocked. But we go to the third period, and it's 1-1. The Flyers were ahead in shots, 4-2, 4 minutes into that period. I thought they were playing well at that stage. Back and forth chances at 6 minutes. Sealer can't bury one. It's unusual seeing Sealer net driving, but he did. Rangers press at 9 minutes, and then Cam York gets his first NHL goal at 10 minutes and 11 seconds. But then the Rangers push to answer, and they do at 10:48. So this is where, the Flyers had a lead, and it didn't last a minute. Hedl scores from Panarin and Strome. That's the first goal in 11 games for Hedl. And then at 13:30, Kreider puts the Rangers into the lead from Fox and Kakko. And that makes it 3-2 for the Rangers. The Flyers try to answer, but that's where Shesterkin makes his saves. Goalie pull with 2+ minutes left. The Flyers had zone time, but they weren't really getting anything dangerous on the net, and Shesterkin and the Rangers win the game. The Rangers go to 25-10-4 with the 3-2 win. The Flyers drop to 13-17-7. The shots in this one, 8-6 Rangers in the first, 12-7 Rangers in the second, 15-7 Flyers in the third. Final shots were actually 28-27 for Philly. Power plays 1 for 2 for the Rangers, 0 for 1 for Philly. Hits 33-23 for Philly. Shesterkin saves 26 out of 28. Hart saves 24 out of 27. So there you go. For the Flyers, rough night. For the Rangers, they get themselves a win on the road. And now we go to the next board. All right, Toronto. Toronto and St. Louis in what was the wildest game of the night. This was crazy. And I would imagine both coaches were driven crazy by this game. I don't know that either coach will be particularly happy with this result. In that how they get there will drive them nuts. Both coaches like their defense, and tonight really wasn't a defensive game. It was Campbell versus Binnington, so you would expect defense and goals against to stay down. You would be wrong. Blues looked sharper early, and they capitalized on that. O'Reilly scores from Barbashev and Sundqvist at 3:58. Now, to the credit of the Toronto Maple Leafs, They answer. Bunting from Matthews at 5:43. So what I liked was after Toronto ties it, Blame Canada played. I do like that Blame Canada was the music that played when Toronto scored. And then at 7:32, Mitch Marner, in his return to the lineup, scores to put them up 2-1. Leafs then press at 9 minutes, and they make it 3-1. It's Tavares from Kerfoot and Riley at 9:27. So it's suddenly 3-1 for Toronto. The only thing I could figure was, okay, so St. Louis has been looking at their record after first periods. They're very good when they're losing after the first period. Don't worry about the first period. It's fine. Blues did call a timeout. Craig Berube unhappy at this stage. Power play for the Blues. That's killed off. Sundqvist with a rush chance. Sandin defends on that. Leafs press with 3.5 minutes left. Saad has a rush chance that's saved. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. But it's 3-1 Toronto after one. Second period. Blues have a 2-on-1. Campbell saves. Engvall had a chance that was saved. Some good back and forth chances. And then O'Reilly from Mikkola at 3:40. And it went in off Matthews' stick as well. Saad would then tie the game from Thomas at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's a 3-3 tie. And it was a really good forecheck by the Blues. The Blues are very good at causing turnovers. And that was helping them out. The Leafs then are the team that calls the timeout. So both coaches had used their timeout. And we're not even halfway through the game. Blues' fourth line was pressing then for the lead. Mikheyev's denied. The Leafs press. And then Liljegren gets his first NHL goal from Dermott and Engvall at 8:18. So that puts Toronto back in the lead. Nylander fires one wide as the Leafs press. Mikkola fires one high. Blues were pressing at that point. The Leafs then get a power play. It's unsuccessful. And then Thomas scores from Kyrou and Saad at 16:13. So it was 3-1 Toronto in the first. It's 3-1 St. Louis in the second. With 1:04 left, the Leafs get a power play. But it still remains 3-1 in the second. So it's 4-4 going into the third. The Blues finish off the kill. Tavares had a chance from behind the net. That was saved. And then Mikkola puts St. Louis in the lead from Kyrou at 3:25. So, again, this is that, all right, so the Blues are behind. No big deal. But at some point, those comebacks have to be a little more difficult. At some point, teams have to be better at countering. With 9:30 left, the Leafs get a power play, and they score on it. It's Matthews at 11:24 scoring from Marner and Riley on the power play. So Matthews stays red hot. That's 10 games in a row on the road where Matthews has had a goal. The record is 11. So Marner with a net drive then fires high, but it's Ilya Mikheyev who gets the sixth goal for Toronto from Engvall at 16:50. And it was just a matter of Binnington lost the puck. Nobody knew where it was, and then it's in the net. Goalie pull with 2 minutes left, and then with 6 seconds left exactly, it becomes a 6-on-4. But Toronto holds on. They win this one 6-5. They go to 24-9-3 on the year. St. Louis drops to 22-11-5. Very rare loss for them at home. Your three stars are Marner, O'Reilly, and Matthews. The shots are 14-10 Toronto in the first, 13-11 Toronto in the second, 13-4 Toronto in the third. They did very well in St. Louis. Final shots 40-25 for Toronto. Power plays 1 for 3 for the Leafs, 0 for 2 for St. Louis. Hits 24-13 for St. Louis. Campbell saved 20 out of 25. I agree with the announcers thinking that St. Louis kind of had a book on Campbell for this, because it sure seemed like they were shooting them all in the same area. Binnington, 34 saves on 40 shots. The Leafs get away with it for tonight. So, big win for Toronto on a road trip that's been kind of an up and down roller coaster. And for St. Louis, again, it's a loss at home. We'll see where things go from here. All right, next up, Chicago. Chicago at home against Anaheim. So this was an interesting one. It's Dostal versus Fleury. So no Stolars, no Gibson. Gibson's still on the protocol list. Over 60% of the National Hockey League has been on the protocol list in the last, I think it's 6 weeks. So that's why I'm not reporting on who is or isn't in the protocol list. And if you're saying, well, my team's been hit by the protocol list. Yep. So, yeah, it's Dostal versus Fleury in this one. The ref took an early hit. Big hit early, too. Murphy has a chance that's blocked. Kane with a rush chance. Near miss wide for him. The shots are 3-2 for the Ducks, though, at 6 minutes. So the Ducks played a decent start to this. Power play for Anaheim. That was a no. The Hawks then get a power play. That's also a no. Shattenkirk has a chance that's saved, but after the first period, it's scoreless. Second period, Ducks press at 3 minutes. There was a crowd at the Hawks net after a whistle. The Ducks come out with a power play from all that takes place. Galvis then cleared a certain goal to the point where they had to look at it on the replay and see if it went in. So what happens after a replay where you see that, oh, the puck didn't cross the line? Well, the puck goes the other way. Gustafsson out of the box plays a pretty key role on a goal. So Hagel scores from Gustafsson and Stillman at 5:33. So that's one of those right after the power play kind of things. And it was so close to a power play goal for the Ducks. Just doesn't happen. So shots are 11-6 for the Ducks with 9.5 minutes left. Showing that, again, they're playing a good road game, just not getting the win at this stage. Ducks press with 9 minutes left. Dostal robs Reichel of his first NHL goal. He had opportunities, though. It'll happen. Hawks get a power play. That was unsuccessful. Taves was robbed late in the period. Last minute press then by the Ducks. So we go to the third period with it 1-0 Chicago. But again, Anaheim to this stage has played a good road game, and they continue to do that. Early chances for the Hawks. Hagel steals one, but he's all by himself, so that doesn't really go very far. Hawks get a power play, and they score on it. It's Patrick Kane scoring from DeBrincat and Taves at 4:22. Things get kind of scrummy at the Ducks net. Murphy flattens Zegras out there as well. Zegras bounced back up, but Murphy flattened him. Nice hit. They pull the goaltender with 4+ minutes left. Zegras has a shot that deflects out, and eventually the empty net goal is scored by Kubalik. He scores it from DeBrincat and DeHaan at 16:39. So DeBrincat, known for goals, gets a couple of assists tonight. So your final score is 3-0. The Chicago Blackhawks go to 15-18-5 with the win. The Ducks drop to 19-15-7. It has gotten pretty rough for Anaheim the last little while here. I do think they're going to end up falling out of the playoffs. It's just a matter of enough teams behind them getting hot in order to push them down. Your 3 stars are Fleury, Hagel, and Stillman. Your shots, 15-11 Chicago in the first, 14-12 Anaheim in the second, 13-9 Anaheim in the third. So they had a good game. They just didn't have any finish. Final shots, 38-36 for Anaheim. Power plays, 0-2 for Anaheim, 1-3 for Chicago. The hits, 33-24 for the Ducks. Dostal saves 33 out of 35. Fleury saves all 38 shots for his 70th career shutout. 70. So kudos to Marc-Andre Fleury for his 70th shutout. And yeah, we'll see what they can do next. Because for Chicago, it's a matter of getting enough wins together, right? And maybe getting back into that hunt. Because again, the Ducks definitely look susceptible to falling out. Next up, Colorado. So remember when they got goalied in their game last night and they won it in a shootout? There was even a suggestion in the comments about me dropping them because they needed a shootout to beat Arizona. Can I not drop them after this? So it's Kemper versus Vejmelka. Spoiler alert, I didn't drop them after last night's game either. Early rush chance for both teams. Avs get themselves a power play. That becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off. The shots are 6-2 for Colorado at 8 minutes. Colorado did very much the same thing they did in last night's game, just tonight they had more puck luck. The Avs get a power play after that, and they score on it. It's Nathan McKinnon from Rantanen and Makar at 13-13. The Coyotes then get a power play after that. That was unsuccessful. And honestly, the Avs dominate most of that period. So we go to the second. The Avs press at 2 minutes. Vejmelka denies Landeskog. The Avs are in total control, only up by 1. And that's the key thing, right? They're not getting a lot of distance between themselves and Arizona at this stage. Boyd clears one out as the Avs press. No shots for the Coyotes at 6.5 minutes into the period. At the Avs blue line, they kept hitting a wall. You'd see them just get up to the Avs blue line and then, no, you shall not pass. I guess they got Gandalf on the blue line, which is good. I mean, whatever you got to do. He's a little bit older, but it might actually bring up the average age of the Avs, right? So 8 shots for Arizona in the first 30 minutes of this game. I thought that was remarkable. That Colorado, not swayed at all by last night, it doesn't get in their heads that they didn't destroy Arizona last night, and they just keep playing their game. And then Rantanen scores from Landeskog and McKinnon at 10:49 to make it 2-0. This is where the dam bursts. And then Kadri scores from Burakovsky at 12:11. Keller's then guilty of a turnover, so Rantanen leads a 3-on-1 that he finishes at 14:30, and suddenly it's 4-0 for Colorado. And if you're there and you're a Coyotes fan, hey, you could probably pack up your stuff and go. The game's probably done. The Avs then go for another. The Coyotes had a chance. There was a crowd after a save there. Krause has a rush chance that's saved, but it's 4-0 going into the third period. Good start for the Coyotes to the third. Burakovsky then at a net drive that was defended. The shots are 5-2 for the Avs at the half. So, good start or not, the Coyotes aren't generating enough opportunities. Ghost took a puck to the ear. He did come back after getting some repairs. Dzingel with the net feed, that was cleared. The Coyotes press with 5.5 minutes left. Kessel was denied. And then Mosier had a shot that was saved. Might have been the toughest stretch for Kemper on the night. But then McKinnon scores at 19:39. So in the final minute, McKinnon gets the second goal to go with an assist. And the Avs emphatically win this one 5-0. They go to 24-8-3. And for the Coyotes, they drop to 8-24-4. The three stars, Rantanen, McKinnon, and Kemper. The shots, 10-6 Colorado in the first, 14-7 Colorado in the second, 8-7 Colorado in the third. Final shots, 32-20 for the Avs. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 3, Arizona 0 for 2. Hits, 25-16 Colorado, so they out-hit him and outshot him. Kemper saves all 20 shots for his 21st career shutout. Vejmelka, a little rougher stat line than his last game, 27 saves on 32 shots. So there you go. Now we need to go to the last board. Now for what might have been the surprise of the night. I am aware that Edmonton was off for a long time before this game, but Ottawa's played, one game in the last 2 weeks? So it was kind of a, okay, we'll see what happens kind of moment. It was Murray versus Skinner. So you've got Matt Murray, a guy in a big contract who hasn't lived up to it. You've got Skinner, who might have a starting job right in front of him, right in his grasp, because there's not a lot of faith in Koskinen, and Smith keeps getting injured. So Batherson wires one high early, and the Oilers looked flat. So the long layoff, I can see early on in this game, was taking a toll on the Oilers. Cassian to McDavid, it was out of McDavid's reach. The Oilers press, they're not getting shots. Then the Senators get a power play, and they score on it. It's Josh Norris from Tkachuk at 10:35. So Josh Norris, who is going to have a good night, maybe get a big head about it, we'll come back to that, makes it 1-0. And then Ennis, former Oiler, almost makes it 2-0 for the Senators. Senators' defense wasn't giving a lot of space to the Oilers. But with 3:22 left, the Oilers get a power play. And as this period rolled along, the Oilers start getting opportunities. They then had a 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 5 seconds, and McDavid drew that penalty. Murray denies McDavid during that, but then during the 5-on-4, Cassian scores on the power play from Draisaitl at 19:13. So it's 1-1 after 1, and the shots heavily favored Edmonton by the end of the period. Whatever Ottawa was doing kind of fell apart, and I know there were a lot of shots during that power play, so that's going to skew things. But going into the second, it looked like maybe the Oilers were going to take care of business. The Oilers get an early power play. Really strong penalty kill by the Senators, though. Made sure that didn't score. Senators press at 7 minutes. Gambrell can't bury one. Senators get a power play. Norris has a chance that's blocked. It's all killed off. Yamamoto's denied as the Oilers press. And then on the next series of plays, Yamamoto scores from Fogle and Lagesson at 12:18. So Yamamoto with a goal. And that's something you're looking for from the Oilers, right? You've got a goal from Cassian, a goal from Yamamoto. You're getting goals from guys that you want goals from, that depth scoring. Things are good. Oilers press with 6 minutes left, 4 minute steals. The Oilers defend on that. Stützle with a rush chance. He fires high. And before the period is out, Brendan Perlini scores. So again, depth scoring. Keith and Sevier with the assists at 17:34. The score's 3-1 in favor of the Oilers after 2 periods. So, yes, I put the records up there because I'm like, it's 3-1. Oilers aren't going to lose this. They're at home. It's a big statement game at home. Can't lose that one, right? They're at home. It's the Sens. The Sens just beat Calgary. They're not going to beat Edmonton, too. Anyhow, Brandstrom has a shot that deflects wide. Bouchard was denied. Then the puck goes the other way. And the Senators bury it. It's Gaudette from Formenton and Tierney. 2:41 is the time that he scores it. He roofed it. It was a 2-on-1 break. It was a nice goal. They enjoyed it so much, they combine again. This time it's Formenton scoring from Gaudette and Tierney at 5:07. It's tied. Then the Senators decide, well, while we're here, let's go for the lead. This is where you can see it. Now, I know like there's half fans. It's a half full building. So you get a better feel for the players. I understand like you get like big crowd energy and you've got all this, you can hear the chants and everything. when there's fewer fans in attendance, you can get a better feel for how the individual players are. And I will use this example. Buffalo, Arizona, Florida, when they're at home and you know there's empty seats, you can hear more of what the players are saying on the ice, and you can hear more from the bench. And you could feel as this game wore on, there was a lot of fun on that Ottawa bench. There was not as much fun on the Edmonton bench. So, Sens were going for the lead. Barry drills one wide as the Oilers press, and then Zub. He scores from Batherson and Josh Brown at 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Ottawa's in the lead. They score 3 straight in the third period. However, Nurse ties it up. He scores from Hyman and Puljujarvi at 12-17, and I didn't think that was a great goal. When they showed that, I thought, that's one that Murray should be stopping. With 4:43 left, however, the Sens get a power play. And before they go out on the power play, Josh Norris's helmet's not working. So he's trying to find a helmet that fits him. The problem is they're all too small. So you got to find that Goldilocks helmet, that one that's not too small, not too big. Well, he gets one from Gambrell. It fits, but it's a snug fit. But it fits. So he's wearing number 9 for Norris, and he's got 27 on his helmet. And it works. He scores the power play goal from Stützle and Chabot at 16-18, wearing Gambrell's helmet. So this is guaranteed to be in highlight reel packages for months, if not years to come. Ottawa's in the lead. And again, he takes that helmet then and he flips it into their bench and he's cheering and everything. And you can see this real enjoyment that Ottawa's having in the game. And you can see just next to them the misery on the Edmonton Oilers bench. It really reminds me of just before Travis Green was gone out of Vancouver. It feels like that. Feels like Philadelphia before Alain Vigneault was gone out of Philly. It is that same joyless feeling. I know what Ken Holland has said recently. I'm telling you, that joyless feeling stays on the bench. I don't know if Tippett does. So they pull the goalie with 1:20 seconds left. That allows Sanford to hit the empty net at 19:02. Zach Sanford, nail in the casket on this one. The Senators win 6-4 after being down 3-1 entering the third period. They go to 11-18-2, and it's their 7th win in 11 games. Ottawa's not going into making the playoffs, but boy, they're playing spoiler really well. The Oilers 18-15-2 with the loss, and that's a tough one. Remember, they're outside the playoffs. With tonight's results, they're now 4 points back of the playoffs, and they've got 3 games in hand on the team that they're chasing, San Jose here. But again, you have to win those games in hand, and right now they haven't been winning anything. So your 3 stars are Norris, Nurse, and Formenton. The shots, 16-6 Edmonton in the first, 8-7 Edmonton in the second. Both teams had 13 shots in the third. Final shots, 37-26, favor of the Oilers. Power plays, 2 for 3 for Ottawa. That is unlike Edmonton's penalty kill. Edmonton goes 1 for 3. The hits, 34-23 for Ottawa. Murray saves 33 out of 37. Skinner saves 20 out of 25. So Murray was the better of the 2 goalies tonight. And if you're Ottawa, you're happy with this. If you're Edmonton, you are less happy. No points for McDavid. I don't know if this makes them more or less likely to bring in Kane. I think they've already got a number agreed to with Evander Kane. I think they're just waiting for everything else to clear up, and they're going to add him. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to turn things around with Edmonton. I don't know. We'll see though, right? All right. Next up, L.A. Kings. So this was a good test for them because they've played the fewest road games in the league for any team not named Florida. Florida's played the fewest road games. L.A. the second least coming into tonight. It's Peterson versus Drieger in this one. Cal Peterson's been very good. Spoiler alert, he was very good tonight too. Great Seattle pregame show though. This was them finally unveiling the pregame show that they've been meaning to. I think the pandemic slowed everything down. They don't have a mascot revealed yet. So I've thought about doing like one of those videos where let's speculate on what it might look like. Right? Like Oily the Oil Can in Edmonton before they brought out whatever the abomination is. Just kidding. It's not really an abomination, but it's kind of scary, the mascot for the Oilers. But anyways, we'll likely see a mascot for Seattle sooner or later, just not yet. So Brown was denied early. I will say, though, if you haven't seen the pregame show for Seattle, I would imagine it'll be available all over the internet. Watch it. It reminded me a lot of Vegas's pregame shows. May even have been from the same people that did the Vegas one. No idea, but it was fun. Very well done. Brown's denied early. Giordano has a rush chance that's saved. And then Kempe shows again why he's going to the All-Star game. He gets his 17th goal. This is a career high for him already. We're not even at the halfway mark of the season. He scores from Iafallo and Kopitar at 4:06. Fantastic pass by Iafallo and an easy goal for Kempe. Seattle tries to answer. The shots, though, are 4-2 for the Kings at the half. A little offense in the second half. There really wasn't much to write about on the board. It was just very defensively oriented. With 1:02 left, the Kings get a power play. Second period, Kraken finish the kill. And coming out of a first period that only featured 10 shots in total. The Kings press after it's done. Bjorn fought with a net feed. That was saved and held. But then Danault makes it a 2-0 game from Mikey Anderson. Trevor Moore gets an assist as well at 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So it's 2-0 LA. Seattle would try to answer. There's a power play then for the Kraken. It's a 4-minute power play, so those can be dangerous, and it's dangerous here. Johansson scores from Giordano and Gord at 10:49. Seattle then goes back to the power play, and McCann hits the post. It's killed off. Donato would then hit the post as well. Hits the post, and then it hits the foot of Peterson, and it goes wide. So no puck luck tonight for Seattle on this one. There's some dislike at the Seattle net with 1:57 left. In the last minute, there's a press by the LA Kings. We go to the third period with the score 2-1 in favor of LA. Early press by the Kings. McCann had a rush chance that wouldn't go. The shots are 2-0 for Seattle at 7 minutes. So A, they've held the Kings off the board, but B, the Kings have limited them to 2 shots. They're just not getting the opportunities. No easy zone entries for Seattle in that third period. Very good defensive road game. Nice trap being played at that point by LA. So 1-3-1, and it works. Doughty with a blast that saved 97.8 miles per hour was what they measured that shot as. So Doughty can still fire it. Seattle presses with 5.5 minutes left. Then with 3:45 left, the Kraken get a power play. It was unsuccessful. Now, where Coach Hackstall kind of lost me on this was, you're down 2-1, your team's been really struggling, but you scored a power play goal. I really thought at the start of that power play, go for it. Pull the goaltender and go 6-on-4. He didn't. He did eventually pull the goaltender, but that was for 6-on-5, and Danault then scores into the empty net from Moore at 19:15. So the LA Kings win this one 3-1. They go to 20-13-5 with the win. LA is starting to roll now. Seattle rolling the other direction, 10-23-4 with the loss. It's another regulation loss for Seattle. 3 stars are Peterson, Drieger, and Johansson. Shots were 5 apiece in the first. Really wasn't much to write about the first period. Second period, 13-7 were the shots for LA. Third period, back into a defensive shell we go. 6-4 were the shots for Seattle. So it wasn't the most exciting game. The final shots are 22-18 for LA. LA doesn't care about that. They won. They're 0-for-1 on the power play. Seattle was 1-for-4. The hits were 30-23 for Seattle. Peterson saved 17 out of 18. Relatively easy night for him. I was surprised he was first star, to be honest. Drieger with 19 saves on 21 shots. I was actually kind of surprised to see both goaltenders in the 3 stars, just because it felt like Danault with the 2 goals would have been in there. I thought Kopitar, Moore, even Johansson, I could see why any of them would have been in the 3 stars. I was kind of surprised by the goaltender, though. And I know Johansson's in the 3 stars, but anyways, just my 2 cents. All right, moving along. And I was surprised there's two Seattle people on there and not 2 Kings. How Danault doesn't get on the board. Anyway, next up. Last up, Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh needed to bounce back, and I think they did that. I think they did that nicely. Or should I say Louis Domingue did it? Louis Domingue. He's the man right now, right? Domingue versus Hill, your goaltending matchup. Louis making his debut as a Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender. Shots are 4-1 for the Sharks at 4.5 minutes. Louis busy. Eventually, San Jose scores first. It's Balcers with his 3rd of the year from Carlson and Meyer at 7:01. It was a fantastic pass by Erik Karlsson. And at this stage, I'm thinking, the first 7.5 minutes, it's all Sharks. They're up 1-0. And I thought, well, I guess this road trip for Pittsburgh is going to end up being kind of middling, but, they've had a really good run. Well, Letang scores from Gensel and Bluger at 10:56 to tie it. That was only the second shot for the Penguins in the game, and it's in the net. And it was a nice breakaway and a nice deke to put the puck in by Letang. Pens get a power play. That was killed off. Malkin with a steal. Bonino defends on that, and then Bonino had a chance at the other end. Balcers tips one high. The Sharks would press, but it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Things get brawly at 1 minute and 50 seconds behind the Pens net. The shots are 4-2 for the Sharks 5 minutes into it. The Penguins press at 8 minutes. Hill saves on Rodriguez. There's more Pens pressure with 7.5 minutes left. Sullivan was mixing up his lines at this point too. Hurdle gets a rush chance. That's saved. Hill comes way out of his net, and he gets away with it, but he came pretty far out, and I was like, what are you doing, Aiden? What are you thinking? Get back in your net. And the announcers are saying that too. They're like, get back in your net. So, yeah, with 1:10 left, the Sharks get a 4-minute power play. This is key. They don't score in that remainder of the period, and then the 2 minutes and 50 seconds to start the third, they don't score in that either. Pittsburgh's penalty kill is excellent. It's not usually very busy. They take the fewest penalties in the league. It was busier than usual tonight. The shots are 4-2 for the Pens at 5 minutes. There's some good back and forth chances that follow that. Pettersson has a blast that saved. The Sharks get a power play. That was killed off. And then the Pens press with 6.5 minutes left. With 5:24 left, the Sharks go back to the power play. So again, this is a lot of power plays for San Jose against a team that doesn't normally give them up. The Pens did kill that off. Hurdle then with a net drive, that wouldn't go. Kapanen has a chance that's deflected high, and Sid the Kid hits the post. We go to overtime, tied at 1. Sharks had a chance. Demang holds on that. Sharks control the faceoff. It wasn't actually a shot on net. It was wide, but Demang gloved it and held it anyways. The Sharks control on the faceoff, but the Pens get it. And then the Sharks decide to make a line change while they don't have the puck. There's a reason teams don't do this in overtime. Because Gensel scores for Pittsburgh. It's 3-on-3. You cannot change your players when you don't have the puck. You can't do that. It's not good. Gensel scores from Crosby and Letang at 37 seconds because San Jose was in the line change and they caught him. So Pittsburgh wins 2-1 in overtime. They go to 22-10-5 with the win. San Jose drops to 20-17-2. So they have 42 points on the season. And, you know, it's not the way you want to get a point, but it's better than not getting a point at all, right? 3 stars are Demang, Gensel, and Hill. And I am all here for Demang getting all the love in the world for coming in tonight and playing really well. So the shots in this one favor San Jose heavily in the first and second, 11-4 and 17-8. In the third, Pittsburgh did outshoot San Jose 14-13. In the overtime, just the one shot, it was Pittsburgh's, and they made it count. Final shots, 41-27 for San Jose. Power plays, Pittsburgh only gets 1, no goals. San Jose gets 4, also no goals. Hits, 28-21 for San Jose, so they out-hit him and outshot him. Demang saves 40 out of 41. Hill saves 25 out of 27. So good goaltending matchup there. And Louis Demang comes out with the win. Kind of proud of him on that one. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.